Hello everybody, it's your boy Concerned Political, and today what we're going to be talking about is we have Hurricane Maria, Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price, and of course the NFL and Donald Trump. So, let's get right on into it. Hurricane Maria was a very devastating hurricane that hit Puerto Rico. It's knocked power out to the entire island. Puerto Rico is in trouble right now. And what we have here is a giant controversy regarding the response to Puerto Rico, the federal government relief response. Uh, what's going on right now is apparently there's this rule, there's this law with Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico is not its own state. Anything that goes into Puerto Rico has to go through Florida or through the continental United States first, go through boredoms, customs, all that kind of junk, and then get redirected back to Puerto Rico. And this, of course, is leading to a massive delay in relief supplies reaching Puerto Rico, because everything that gets shipped off to Puerto Rico needs to be inspected and has to go through Florida first. And this, of course, again, is proving very, very costly in terms of lives and property and all this kind of stuff, that which could be saved with the supplies that are being held up in these ports. All right. So I'm Cuban, right? So Cuba and Puerto Rico, of course, has a rivalry, right? Why? Because we're basically the same thing. Only difference is one thinks they're more superior than the other. But in this kind of situation, there's no room for rivalry or anything like that. It's literally just we need to help the people who need to get helped, and the people who need to get helped right now are the Puerto Ricans. They've been hit very, very hard. I hope everybody watching this can do something, right? And I hope the federal government figures out what the hell they're doing, because they're claiming that this is a very successful operation. It's not, right? Most of the island still doesn't have power. There are people who still need to be rescued from their homes. There's infrastructure that's completely destroyed, including but not limited to power plants, power lines, phone lines, cell towers, and all this kind of stuff, which is limiting communication to the island. If you're on the island right now and you have communication to the outside world, please let us know what the hell's going on, all right? And if you're somebody who has communication with somebody on the island, try to get into communication with as many people on the island as possible. Same thing with the Virgin Islands. They've been hit very hard as well. And because there's less people have given, or who have cared less, and that's not the way it should work. People should care equally about these islands, which have been hit very, very hard by this kind of stuff. Alright, second story for today. We have Secretary of Health and Human Services, Tom Price, has resigned after racking up about $1 million in debt from using government airplanes to travel personally. That's some of the scummiest crap you can possibly think of. I mean, why would you use a government plane? Everyone on Trump's cabinet is rich, right? You can afford to buy yourself a decent seat. And if the government... That is one thing I cannot tolerate at all, is the immense lack of respect for the office of which he holds. He has to understand every time he does something, he's not paying out of pocket. The government is. If he wants to reimburse the government, that's fine. Do whatever the hell you want then at that point. But you're not reimbursing the government. You never said you're going to reimburse the government. Ivanka never said she's going to reimburse the government. So stop taking these trips. Stop sending people to places where they shouldn't be. All right? And get a hold on your cabinet. Okay? And now we got to talk about the main story of tonight. And the main story of tonight regards this. This right here is an American flag. Okay? When the national anthem of the United States plays at a sporting event, or in public, or in a school system, or in a public institution, you stand and salute this. A salute is either your hand over your heart or your hand on the brim of your cap. And you are standing and you are silent. An American flag represents a lot more than you. Okay? There's a reason why we stand for the flag and we don't kneel to it. Right? I've heard the argument, why don't we kneel to the American flag? Isn't kneeling a sign of submission, of respect? Yes, that's true. But we don't kneel to the American flag because the American flag represents all of us, right? And we don't kneel to ourselves, right? We represent ourselves. When you stand for the flag, you stand for yourself. You stand for the rights that you have, that you've been given, that you've been trusted. And so, and have that others have defended for you. So when overpaid athletes from the NFL, like teams like the Bears, decide that they want to kneel, or they want to stay in the locker room, or they want to link arms and kneel, or they want to sit out, or whatever the hell the case may be, there's no respecting the flag in that. You cannot say, oh, I respect the flag, and do that. Respecting the flag is something. You want to protest, protest. By all means, it is your First Amendment right to protest. However, when the national anthem plays and the American flag is being raised, it is neither the time nor the place to kneel, to sit. Okay? It is the time to stand up, remove your headwear, and place your right hand over your heart. That's how it works. Okay? Because the American flag represents all those rights in which you have. Represents everything that you so humbly and neglectfully and naively and ignorantly express. Your right of protest is guaranteed by this flag because this flag represents everything. It represents the Congress of the United States. It represents the office of the President of the United States. It represents each and every single individual citizen of the United States. It represents our military. It represents our Constitution. And by not standing for it, by not respecting it, not only are you disrespecting America and everything she has given you, but you are disrespecting yourself. To all the NFL players who may or may not watch this, if you want to make a real noise and protest something real big, sit out the game, not the anthem. This has been Concerned Political. Stay concerned. Stay political.